We have been taught, almost from the moment we could understand language, that a good heart must be a porous one. We were told that to be good is to be endlessly patient, to be the person who absorbs the impact, the one who carries the weight of everyone else's storms without ever asking for an umbrella. You were taught that your value was measured by how much you could endure before you finally broke. But tonight, I want to suggest something that might feel like a cold wind on a fevered brow. Real goodness, the kind that the ancient world whispered about in stone corridors, is not the absence of a boundary. It is the absolute, immovable presence of one. A Stoic does not endure the crossing of a line because they are weak. They define the line so clearly that the crossing of it becomes an act of nature, like rain falling or the wind blowing, something that can no longer touch the core of who they are. Take a moment. I want you to go back to a very specific memory. Not just a general feeling, but a moment. Think of the last time someone truly crossed the line with you. Perhaps it was a word spoken in a tone that felt like a sharp edge against your skin. Perhaps it was a betrayal that moved slowly, like a shadow stretching across a room until you realized you were standing in the dark. Can you feel the physical sensation of that moment? The sudden heat in the back of your neck, the way your breath caught, shallow and jagged, in the top of your lungs, the strange ringing silence that followed, where the world seemed to stop for a second while your brain tried to reconcile who you thought that person was with what they just did. You felt exposed. You felt as though something precious inside you had been stepped on by someone who didn't even bother to wipe their feet. And then came the aftermath. The long, hollow hours of the phantom argument. You know these hours well. You are lying in bed, the room is quiet, but your mind is a theater of war. You rehearse the things you should have said. You sharpen your words into knives, imagining the perfect retort that would finally make them understand the depth of the wound they caused. You ask yourself the same questions over and over. How could they? Did they ever actually care? Am I so easy to discard? You feel a deep, burning sense of injustice, not just because of what they did, but because of your own silence in the moment it happened. You feel like a traitor to yourself. You feel that by not fighting back, you somehow gave them permission to do it again. What I am about to tell you will change the way you look at every conflict, every betrayal, and every difficult person you will ever encounter. It is not a tactic for winning an argument, and it is not a motivational speech about standing your ground. It is a fundamental shift in how you perceive your own soul in relation to the chaos of the world. If you stay with me until the end of this, you will realize that the pain you feel when someone crosses the line isn't actually caused by their actions. It is caused by a misunderstanding of where you end and where the rest of the world begins. Once you see the line for what it truly is, no one will ever be able to cross it in a way that breaks you again. 2,000 years ago, a man named Marcus Aurelius sat in a tent on the edge of a dark forest, far from the comforts of Rome. He was the most powerful man on earth, yet he spent his nights writing to himself, trying to figure out how to remain human in a world that felt increasingly monstrous. He wrote something that has echoed through the centuries. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. He understood something that we have forgotten. When someone crosses the line, they are offering you a gift, the opportunity to see exactly who they are, and more importantly, the opportunity to decide who you are. The Stoics didn't view a boundary as a fence they built to keep people out. They viewed it as a definition of their own character. To a Stoic, the line isn't something someone else crosses. The line is the limit of what you allow to enter your inner sanctuary. Here is the psychological truth that is hard to hear, but it is the truth that sets you free. We do not get angry at people because they are cruel. We get angry because we expected them not to be. We have a hidden contract in our minds that says, if I am kind to you, you must be kind to me. If I am loyal to you, you must be loyal to me. And when they break that contract, we feel a sense of cosmic injustice. But the Stoic realizes that this contract was a fiction we wrote ourselves. People are not crossing a line in the universe. They are simply acting according to their nature. Expecting a person who lacks empathy to suddenly show you grace is like being angry at a thorn bush for pricking you. It is the nature of the bush to have thorns. The pain you feel is the result of your own expectation that the bush should have been a rose. This creates a terrifying moral struggle within you. You think, if I stop being hurt, if I stop being angry, if I just accept this, do I lose who I am? Am I just letting them win? If I don't fight, am I a coward? You feel that your anger is the only thing protecting you, like a shield made of fire. You worry that if you let go of that fire, you will be left cold and defenseless. You want to be a good person, but you also want to be a person who is respected. You find yourself caught between two identities, the martyr who suffers in silence and the aggressor who strikes back to prove their worth. You are afraid that if you set a hard boundary, you are being mean. You are afraid that if you walk away, you are giving up. But there is a middle path, and it is the path of wisdom. It begins with a gentle realization, one that requires no guilt, only clarity. You must ask yourself, how did I contribute to the blurring of this line? Not as a way to blame yourself, never as a way to blame yourself, but as a way to reclaim your power. Did you ignore the small red flags because you wanted to be easygoing? Did you stay silent when the first minor boundary was stepped over because you didn't want to make a scene? We often teach people how to treat us by what we are willing to tolerate in the name of being nice. Stoicism teaches us that being kind and being nice are not the same thing. Being nice is about making others comfortable. Being kind is about telling the truth, starting with the truth you tell yourself. When you embrace this wisdom, everything changes. Your boundaries stop being loud and they start being quiet. When someone crosses the line, you don't need to scream. You don't need to explain. You don't need to win the argument. You simply observe the data. You realize that this person has shown you where their capacity ends. And so you move. You move your heart, you move your time, or you move your life. You don't do it out of malice, and you don't do it to punish them. You do it because it is the only logical response to the reality of the situation. Strength isn't found in the person who can shout the loudest. It is found in the person who can walk away with a calm heart, knowing that their peace is not for sale. You begin to understand that no is a complete sentence, and that protecting your inner peace is the highest moral duty you have. This is the transformation. You become a person who is both soft and unbreakable. You can be deeply compassionate because you are no longer afraid of being depleted. You can be incredibly generous because you know exactly where your limits are. You no longer look at the person who hurt you with hatred. You look at them with a kind of distant philosophical pity, the way you might look at someone who is trying to drink from a mirage in the desert. You realize that their inability to respect your line is a reflection of the chaos inside them, not a lack of value inside you. You stop trying to fix their perception of you and start focusing entirely on your perception of yourself. As you sit here now, let that sink in. The line is not a wall you build to hide behind. The line is the shore where the ocean meets the land. The ocean can storm, it can roar, it can crash against the sand with everything it has, but the land remains the land. You are the land, you are the observer. You are the one who decides what is allowed to take root in your soil and what must be washed away by the tide. You are not a victim of human nature, you are a student of it. And a student is never truly hurt by the lesson, even when the lesson is difficult. You are stronger than the things that have happened to you. You are deeper than the wounds that were left by people who didn't know how to love. You are a sanctuary. From this moment on, you can choose to be the gatekeeper of your own peace. You can look at the world with clear eyes and a calm heart, knowing that while people may try to cross the line, they can never reach the center of who you are unless you invite them in. You are whole. You are safe. You are governed by a wisdom that is older than your pain. Rest in that. Breathe in that. You are the master of the line.